Do these institutions think that we're stupid? I hate to be the harbinger of doom for Canadian universities, but you guys are making it really difficult for me not to be. You might have heard that McGill is cutting like 25 sports. This is a bigger deal than you might think. First of all, we know McGill is struggling. This past February, they announced that they're running a $50 million budget shortfall. The following month, they said that they would cut 100 jobs to kind of start compensating for this. But zooming out, the issue is not McGill. The root of it all is the Quebecois government, and I'm going to bring something up that a lot of people don't want to talk about. But it needs to be said. Let's make international students pay international fees. You're like, Amanda, what the hell are you talking about? Of course, international students pay international fees. Not the French. Provincial law in Quebec forces Quebecois institutions to give French students from France Quebecois fees. So they pay literally like $1,200 a term, which for a 4-year degree is about $9.6 thousand. Comparatively, an Ontario student now with the new tuition pays about $60,000 in tuition for 4 years. And this law is to preserve French language. The problem with that is that there are more French-speaking people in Africa than in France, whose primary language is French. But do you think those people get a subsidy? Don't be silly. And if I hear anyone going, oh, mais c'est pour la culture, Quebecois culture is not French culture. I've spoken to many about this and real Quebecois people agree. I bring this up because the actions of the Quebecois government has pushed McGill into debt. Not only have they forced higher tuition rates for out-of-province students, which McGill sees none of, by the way, they've cut capital funds for infrastructure by 30%, as well as operating grant funds and a bunch of other things. And if anyone tries to pull out, well, my money shouldn't be going to university. Bro, yes, it should. It's a publicly funded institution. You're being taxed regardless. Again, greater context, the Quebecois government is also running a huge deficit and is cutting everywhere. The problem with this though is that cutting from universities is like cutting the brainstem of your province. Making it more difficult for other Canadians to access McGill does not make it more attractive to francophones. Like, that logic just boggles my mind. I will also say McGill was super dumb when it came to this decision. Said that they split sports into boxes and then they compared the sports and how much they cost, HR, all that, to only the sports within that box. So a sport could look unsustainable just because the other teams in that box were struggling, if you know what I mean. Also declined to comment on how much this would actually save them and didn't have anything to say about where alumni donations were going, which is super sus. This will affect enrollment. Some students that I mentor are literally no longer applying for university at McGill. And even for students who aren't going to be joining a team, this could still affect enrollment. It is terrible optics, especially since disproportionately women's teams were affected. In terms of takeaways from this, I want you to remember that this is bigger than McGill and we need to demand change from our governments.